Good morning. Today we are covering factoring review. You have learned in the past that if we multiply two binomials using FOIL, we're going to end up, in this case, with the trinomial. X times x will be x squared. X times 3 will be positive 3. We're going to multiply the negative 2 times each one. Negative 2 times x is negative 2x. Negative 2 times 3 will give us a negative 6. If we combine all like terms, x squared comes down, 3x minus 2 is positive x, and negative 6. So the opposite will be, or the reverse will be, to factor it. We're going to start with a trinomial, and we need to be able to come up with a product of two binomials. Let's look at the example that's given. Example, factor the following trinomial. Here we have 2x squared minus 9x plus 4. First, we need to be able to find the factors of 2x squared, which is x times 2x. Will be factors of 2x squared are 2x times x. Now, we need to be able to find the factors of positive 4. So, factors of 4 are 1 times 4 and 2 times 2. We need to be able to try some of the factors to be able to see which one will give us the correct factorization. Now, since this is a positive 4, we know that they both have to be negative or both positive. So let's go and try negative 1 and negative 4. So I'm taking the factors of 4, which are 1 and 4, and I'm going to FOIL to see if I can get the same trinomial that I started with. 2x times x will give us 2x squared. 2x times negative 4 will give us negative 4x, negative 8x. Negative 1 times x will give us negative 1x, and negative 1 times negative 4 will give us a positive 4. If I add the two middle terms, will that give us a negative 9? Correct. So if I add both terms, that is 2x squared minus 9x plus 4. Now, if that was not the correct factorization, then you have to use 2 times 2. Now, I place this little square, so instead of going through the whole FOIL, if you just want to multiply the last terms, or the outside terms, 2x times negative 4 will give us negative 8x. Negative 1 times x is negative 1x. If I add those together, does it give me negative 9? Correct. So you don't have to go through the whole FOIL. You can just double check the last two terms and the middle terms to see if that will give you a negative 9. Let's try example number 1. First, the factors of 3x squared are 3x times x. I need to be able to find the factors of 2. There's only 1. 1 times 2. Everything's positive in here, so they both have to be positive. I'll try 1 times 2 will give us a 2. They both have to be positive. I'm going to multiply the outside terms. That'll give us 6x. I'm going to multiply the middle terms. That'll give us 1x. If I add both of them, will that give me 5? No. So I'm going to switch the 2 and the 1 around. I'm going to place the 2 here and the 1 here. And see if that helps. I'll place my 2 in here and my 1 here. Now I'm going to multiply once again. 3x times x is 3x squared. 3x times positive 1 will give us 3x. 2x times x will give us 2x. And 2 times 1 will give us 2. If I add those two numbers, will that give me 5? Correct. Now, to help you, especially whenever we're starting to have negatives within our trinomial, Go and write this on the left hand side. If the last term is positive, then that means that you're going to have to add both numbers to get the middle term. If the last term is negative, that means that you're going to have to subtract them to get the middle term. So let's try example B. The factors of 2x squared will be 2x times x. The factors of 3 are 3 and 1. Now, this is a positive, so it means that whenever I add both terms, middle terms, that will have to give me a negative 7 for it to be correct. I'm going to place my 3 here and my 1 here, and they both have to be negative, right? Because whenever I multiply a negative 1 times a negative 3, that gives me a positive 3. So 2x times x is 2x squared. 2x times negative 3 is negative 6x. Negative 1 times x will give me negative 1x. And of course, negative 1 times negative 3 will give me a positive 3. If I add both terms, will that be equal to negative 7? Correct. If not, then you just have to switch the 3 here and the 1 here and try it once again. Let's go to example C. Factors of 2x squared will be 2x times x. Factors of 15 will be 1 times 15 or 3 times 5. I'm going to use 3 times 5. Now this is a positive, so that means they both have to be negative. Because a negative times a negative will give you a positive. So I'll place my 3 here. Negative 3 times negative 5 is positive 15. I'm going to multiply it out. 2x times x is 2x squared. 2x times negative 5 will give me negative 10x. Negative 3 times x will give me negative 3x. So if I add them, does it give me negative 11? No. So I'm going to switch the 3 and the 5. Now if the 3 and the 5 don't work, then I can use the 1 times 15. But let's go and try using the 5 here first and the 3. So 2x times x is 2x squared. 2x times negative 3 is negative 6x. Negative 5 times x is negative 5x. If I add them, does it give me negative 11? Yes. Now on letter D, if you notice the last term is a negative, that means that whenever you subtract those two middle terms, you're going to have to get a positive 29x. Let's go and try it out. The factors of 5x squared are 5x times x. The factors of negative 6 will be 1 times 6 or 3 times 2. Let me use 3 times 2 first. So 3 times 2. I need to get a negative 6, so one of them has to be a negative, the other one has to be a positive. Let me multiply it out first. That gives me 10x, and that gives me 3x. If I subtract them, does it give me negative, positive 29? No. If I subtract them, it will give me 7. Positive 7 or negative 7. Let me move the 2 and the 3. So that didn't work. I'll place my 2 here and my 3 here. That will give me 15x. 2 times x will give me 2x. If I subtract them, does it give me 29? No. So the 2 and the 3 does not work. What are the factors of 6? I'm going to use 6 and 1. I'll place my 6 here and my 1 here. 5 times 6 is 30x. 1 times x is 1x. If I subtract them, does it give me 29? Yes. I need positive 29, so I'm going to make the 30 a positive. That one's a negative. So 5 times 6 has to give me positive 30, and then negative 1, so I'll be negative 1 times x. The more you practice, the better you get at factoring. So let's go and try the next problem. letter E, double parenthesis, factors of 3x squared are 3x times x. Factors of 10 will be 2 times 5 or 10 times 1. I'm going to use 2 times 5. Now this is a positive, but whenever I add them, remember if the last one's a positive, you're going to have to add them. Whenever I add them, it has to give me a negative 11. So that means that they both have to be negative. I'm going to place my 2 here and my 5 here. Multiply that out, that gives me 6x. Multiply this out, gives me 5x. And they both have to be negative in order for me to add them and give me negative 11x. So that means that they both have to be negative. Right? 3x times x is 3x squared. 3x times negative 2 is negative 6. Negative 5 times x is negative 5x. And negative 2 times negative 5 is negative positive 10. When I add them, it gives me negative 11x. Last one. Double parenthesis. Factors of x squared is x and x. Factors of 15 will be 3 times 5. Now, this is a negative, so that means that whenever I subtract them, it has to give me a positive 2. That is 5x. That will give me 3x. I need a positive 2, that means that 5 has to be positive. That one has to be a negative. If I add them, does it give me positive 2x? Correct. Go ahead and try example number 2, see if you can work it out by yourselves.